Again, it's good to be with you on the program today, and we've got a whole lot to do in just a little bit of time to do it. What we want to do is we want to focus on, again, wickedness and evil. We want to see how that the fight concerning right and wrong, good and evil, has now taken on a new level, especially here in the United States. Now, don't misunderstand me. There's always been right and wrong, good and bad, and there's always been an evil for good people to fight. To the most part, the Americans has always been able to see the evil and know the evil, and has at one point or the other finally rose up against it to stop it. We have become a more based people now, conducting our lives based upon what the Bible refers to as the baser elements. We've become a spiritually dumbed down people, which is very dangerous. Because right now there is a move to conquer, to rule. There is a move now that just to the most simple mind has to say there's something wrong here and there's something bad wrong. Now I want to go back over something and simply not so much show this particular item that I'm going to show you, but to show you how the wickedness works through the means of slander and through the power of words. There's a group today, and please understand, I endorse and promote no religion. I am a Christian, and Christianity is not a religion. It's a fellowship. I don't belong to any organization. I never have belonged to an organization. We're non-denominational. That's what the Lord told me to be and to do, to connect myself with no earthly institution. We've never done that. I'm not connected to any political party. You give me a good man, a decent man, I'll vote for that man. Give me a godly man. Give me a truthful and an honest man. I'll vote for him. It makes no difference to me what color he is, and it certainly makes no difference to me what party he is. But we also can't hide our heads in the dirt and pretend that we don't know what's going on once we begin to investigate the facts. There is a group, and we cannot talk about what's wrong with the nation and the evils that's coming upon it and avoid or eliminate dealing with the people in power that's causing it to happen. Now, predominantly, they call themselves Republicans and they call themselves Democrats. These people that call themselves Democrats in office has proven to be the nastiest of liars and slanderers that maybe the earth has ever known. And we have taken time to diligently prove that point through all manners of things. I want us to look on the program today back at the issue of the birth certificate of Barack Obama. Number one, I would ask you, why would it be such a problem for a man who went to school here, supposedly born here, to simply show a birth certificate? Why would that even be an issue? The birth certificate issue actually began with John McCain in the presidential race, because John McCain, a Republican, was born in Panama because his mom and his daddy was in the armed forces. And they was questioning, the Democrats were questioning whether McCain was a natural-born citizen and if he could even run for president. That's what got the whole ball game going. Mr. McCain took his birth certificate straight to Congress, and it was the end of the matter. Then there came to be an issue of whether or not Barack Obama was, in fact, a legalized citizen. To this day, a straight birth certificate has never been produced. Now, let me explain. The first thing that was offered for the first 3 years of Mr. Obama's presidency was something called a certificate of live birth. The certificate of live birth shows no hospital. It shows no doctor's name that delivered them. And the fact of the business is that Hawaii will issue a certificate of live birth to anyone that asks. You don't have to be born in Hawaii for them to offer you and issue you a certificate of live birth. Then came, after so much pressure, then came the supposed birth certificate that was put on government.org, the White House website. The problem with that birth certificate was whoever put it together layered it. Well, you couldn't layer if you just took a snapshot of a birth certificate and took a picture of it and put it up. It wouldn't be in layers. What it means is that somebody put the thing together. And a couple, 2 or 3 years ago, we went through the Adobe print shop where you could take it and download it from the government's own website. And whoever put it together forgot to finalize it. So there were 9 layers. And when you downloaded it to Adobe, all 9 layers were still there, and you could click in a box and certain items on the birth certificate would go away. Click on another box, other items would go away. Click on another box and other items would go away. In other words, things was put in the birth certificate by computer design. They used a method called kerning. Kerning was not used, nor was it even workable in 1960 when Obama was supposedly born. Kerning is the equal distancing of the letters, which can only be done and was only done by the introduction of the computers. Parts of Obama's birth certificate has kerning in it. Simply impossible. Now, I don't have time to show you all of that video, but if you go to my website, you can see the whole thing. You can see it broke down. You can see the parts being taken out and added to. It's a forged birth certificate. There is no question about it. Once again, the question is, why would it be so difficult for a president, for you or for me or for anybody, to simply produce a birth certificate? Well, we'll go from there. But first I want to read a passage of scripture to you that's found in the book of Proverbs. The scripture reads in Proverbs 11:11, it says, "By the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked." Not by the wicked's military, not by the wicked's government, but the city is overthrown, the state, the nation, overthrown by the mouth. Now, those that dealt with this birth certificate issue, from Fox News on down, we have been labeled, even by Fox News. Bill O'Reilly is supposed to be this conservative-minded person. There's been a campaign to butcher anyone who says anything about the birth certificate. So the media has left it alone. I'm going to show you evidence and proof. That's all. If you can't put it up, you need to shut it up. But if you can put it up, you need to put it up. And I'll let you decide whether or not, well, there's good reason to believe that Mr. Obama was not even born in America. You just watch it and you see for yourself. If you think not, discard it. But if the evidence is there, well, then you'll need to know just how much force in America the mouth of the wicked has now got. That they can silence you on any issue, no matter what the evidence is. Frighten off the entire media. Well, as we deal with this birth certificate issue and whether or not Barack Obama was born in America, the first thing that I would like for you to listen to is right after Obama was elected as a president, there was a radio program that talked with the ambassador of Kenya. And the ambassador of Kenya said that the birthplace of Barack Obama in Kenya was well known. Watch this.
Our President-elect Obama's birthplace over in Kenya, is that going to be a national spot to go visit where he was born?
It's already an attraction.
Okay.
His paternal grandmother is still alive, and
but his birthplace, they'll put up a marker there.
It will depend on the government. It's already well known, as I said.
Yeah.
The ambassador to Kenya, or the Kenyan ambassador, tells us that the place is already well known. The birthplace of Barack Obama is well known in Kenya. Then there comes the issue of Barack Obama's maternal grandmother, who was interviewed shortly after he had become the president. His maternal grandmother in the interview stated that she was an eyewitness to Barack Obama being born in Kenya. And in this portion of the interview, you'll have to read the translation of her words, but here's what his maternal grandmother had to say.
Barack and Nyati Dalani.
What his grandmother states is Barack was born in this village. So we have now the ambassador of Kenya saying that the birthplace of Barack Obama is well known, and there will be monuments built. We have his maternal grandmother saying that she was an eyewitness to his birth and that he was born in this village. You see, they called the people who questioned the birth certificate, they called them birthers, and they began to poison the nation against these people, effectively so, with the mouth of the wicked and through slander. Slander is the first name given to Satan in the Bible. It is when someone kills someone else's character or kills their effectiveness by sowing falsehoods or lies. This ministry is no stranger to it at all. Well, there are all kind of reports over the years that's went out against me and against us. They will not come to my face with it, and I'll treat you with the most kindness in the world. I promise you that. If you hear something about somebody, and yet it's not worthy to be brought to that person to say, sir, is this the truth or not? Well, then it's not worth repeating. Nonetheless, we have two witnesses, those of which now they labeled as birthers and poisoned an entire nation against, intimidated to the point now they won't even speak on the subject. Well, see, these are not Tea Party members that's saying that Barack Obama was born in Kenya. This is his grandmother. This is not Republicans saying that Barack Obama was born in Kenya. This is people who loves him and are for him. The Kenyan ambassador, his grandmother. There's no politics involved in this. There's no Republican, no Tea Party, no birthers. His mama, his grandmother, said she saw him born and said he was born in this village, the Kenyan ambassador. And I'm repeating myself for a reason. Said his birthplace was well known. Now comes the authors of Barack Obama's biography, a biography that's written of him, facts stated, that the one they've done the biography on knows what's said, and even in this case, agreed to with those that would publish it and with the writers that Barack Obama knew. Here's what it said going back more than 16 years ago when he was still in school in Harvard. It says, Barack Obama, the first African-American president of the Harvard Law Review, was born in Kenya, raised in Indonesia and Hawaii. That's his biography. He certainly knew it was written, and for more than 16 years, it went unchanged. This article was placed, again, by his authors of his biography. It was a New York Times bestseller, and this was still present and to be read after Barack Obama became the senator of Illinois. Here's what it says. Barack Obama is the junior Democratic senator from Illinois and was the dynamic keynote speaker at the 2004 Democratic National Convention. He was also the first African-American president of the Harvard Law Review. He was born in Kenya to an American anthropologist and a Kenyan finance minister, and was raised in Indonesia, Hawaii, and Chicago. His first book, Dreams from My Father, A Story of Race and Inheritance, has been a long time New York Times bestseller. These are the authors of his biography. This is still being presented and written after he becomes the Senator of the United States of America. Well, it goes on from there. After Mr. Obama became the president, and all of the hoopla was going on about the birth certificate, and we that challenged it was un-American and birthers and all this stuff, because we were just making things up. But as you already see, we were not just making things up. His grandmama said he wasn't born in America. He was born in that village in Kenya. The Kenyan ambassador said that he was born in Kenya and his birthplace was well known. The authors of his biography wrote for more than 16 years with no objection whatsoever from Barack Obama that he was born in Kenya. Then Mr. Abercrombie, a friend from the time Barack Obama was 5 and 6 years old with his family in Hawaii, became the governor of Hawaii. And going into his governorship, Mr. Abercrombie made it absolutely clear, I am going, when I become governor, I'm going in and I'm going to pull the birth certificate from Barack Obama, and I'm going to show it to the world and put an end to all this nonsense about him not being born in Hawaii. This is what Mr. Abercrombie, the governor of Hawaii, said.
Obviously, I'm going to do what is legally possible. I have the Attorney General and the Director of the Department of Health looking at what we can do to try and see what we can do in turn for an open process that will put those who want to disrespect the President and his parents in the proper light, which is to say they have a political agenda not worthy of any good American.
So even if the President or White House officials ask you, stop, we just don't want you to do it, it's a matter of principle, you're going to go ahead and do it?
We haven't had any of those discussions. This is a matter of principle with me. I knew his mom and dad.
Right.
I was here when he was born. Anybody who wants to ask the question honestly could have had their answer already. My friends in Congress know that. Everyone who knows me knows that. This has nothing to do with the President in terms of politics in the White House. This has everything to do with the respect the President's office is entitled to, and it has everything to do with the respect that every person's.
So Mr. Abercrombie says that it's not worthy of any good American, simply meaning that any American that would question the birth of Obama is not a good American. That would include me, and of course his grandmother and the Kenyan ambassador and the authors of his biography. They're not good Americans neither. He also said that he would put us in our proper light, that is, manifest us for what we are. But then Mr. Abercrombie said that he was there when Barack Obama was born. But later, he says he met him when he was playing t-ball. He was already 5 or 6 years old before Mr. Abercrombie met or knew of Barack Obama. He was not there when Obama was born, and so far nobody has ever testified that they was. He also said it all has to do with the respect of the President and of the office. Well, that is exactly right. It does have to do with the respect of the President and of the office. And the simple question is how in the world is it possible that a President of the United States born in America can't produce a birth certificate showing that he was here? Mr. Abercrombie, a man who greatly loves Mr. Obama, was going to put an end to all this foolishness soon as he got elected governor. Mr. Abercrombie was elected as the governor, and he went in to get the birth certificate. And after more than a year of looking for the birth certificate in Hawaii from the hospitals he was supposed to be born at, Mr. Abercrombie could not find the birth certificate. And the last words spoken on the matter was, Neil Abercrombie, Hawaii's governor, drops the mission to dispel birthers, prove Obama was born in state. In other words, Mr. Abercrombie couldn't find the birth certificate to end all this foolishness and bring us to our proper light, us bad Americans. Why couldn't Mr. Abercrombie, the governor of Hawaii, Why couldn't he find a birth certificate? How come a birth certificate's not been produced? Go on my website and you'll see to the left of the front page several things pertaining to it. One of them is you'll see the layers I spoke of in the beginning, where it was fabricated and created, and the people didn't even have enough sense to finalize it. So when you downloaded the so-called birth certificate from the government's own website, you could click the boxes and watch stuff in it disappear. That's stuff they added to it. There is no birth certificate. Mr. Abercrombie couldn't find a birth certificate because there is no birth certificate. Now, I don't know where Barack Obama was born. I know where his grandmama says that she saw him born, and that was in Kenya. I know where the Kenyan ambassador said his birthplace was already well known. It was in Kenya. I know where the authors of his biography for more than 16 years said he was born. They said he was born in Kenya.
According to an article in the Kenyan Daily National newspaper in July of 2010, the Kenyan government was planning to build a cultural center at Kogelo. The Daily Nation, which published an artist's sketch of the proposed Kogelo Cultural Center, referred to it as Obama's ancestral home. But a Kenyan National Security Service memo, released in PDF format, clearly states that the building of this center was to, quote, honor the birthplace of President Obama and rededicate the tomb of Barack Obama Sr., the president's late father. This is a 2010 Kenyan National Security Service memo, a pretty authoritative source. In March of 2010, Kenyan Parliament member James Orengo is documented to have asked Kenya's Parliament publicly, quote, how could a young man born here in Kenya, who is not even a Native American, become the President of America? On the day after Obama's election, Parliament member Bonai Kwalwali asked fellow members, quote, could we allow a motion for adjournment so that we could also continue the celebrations of having a Kenyan ruling the United States of America? In addition, National Public Radio, NPR, prior to his election as president, reported Barack Obama's birthplace as Kenya. Another reference was made in 2008 in the Nigerian Observer. Under a Washington Dateline, the author of the article wrote, Americans will today go to the polls to elect their next president with Democratic Party candidate Senator Barack Obama largely favored to win. The Kenyan-born senator will, however, face a stiff competition from his Republican counterpart. An African travel magazine reported, quote, as Kenyan-born U.S. Senator Barack Obama jets into Kenya today as part of his African tour, etc., etc. That article is still carried online.
From the highest levels of the Kenyan government and nations around the world, all the way to NPR, National Public Radio here in America, all of them acknowledged the birth of Barack Obama in Kenya. But this is not even worthy of investigation. But the final kicker in this comes from the mouth of his own wife, Michelle Obama.
Barack has led by example. When we took our trip to Africa and visited his home country in Kenya, we took a public HIV test and visited his home country in Kenya, and visited his home country in Kenya, and visited his home country in Kenya.
So once again, I would conclude, what you have heard tonight is not, or today whenever you're watching, is not Tea Party members. It's not Republicans. What you have heard tonight, what you have heard on this program, is that the Kenyan ambassador says that Barack Obama was born in Kenya. Barack Obama's grandmother says that he was born in Kenya. Barack Obama's stepsister and stepbrother has testified he was born in Kenya. The Associated Press has written he was born in Kenya. The National Security Intelligence Service from Kenya said he was born in Kenya. The Kenyan Parliament members said he was born in Kenya. National Public Radio says he was born in Kenya. The Nigerian Observer newspaper says that he was born in Kenya. And Mr. Obama's own wife says his homeland is in Kenya. Where are the Republicans there? Where are the Tea Party members there? Every single one of those institutions and individuals, every one of them, are Barack Obama supporters, Barack Obama lovers, even the men who wrote his biography. This is not something worthy to look into. What you see is the power that the mouth of the wicked possesses, that it would cause the Senate, the Congress, all of the media to drop this like a lead balloon. Something's bad wrong, and there is no question about that. Till the next time, God keep you and bless you. We love you in the Lord.
I could not have walked down that road. I could not have carried such a heavy load. I would not stand silent as they lied on me. I would have fought back in Gethsemane. I never would have drank that bitter cup. And if they came for me, I'd never give up. But the man who came from Galilee was more of a man than me. Never would have died to set man free. And as for those who drove those nails in me, I never would have prayed my God forgive. I would have judged their life